What's up, everybody? It's Kelsee Brianna J here with an overview, swatches, and tutorial of the new Patrickstarrr X Matte collection for holiday 2018. And if you guys do not know who Patrickstarrr is, he is a fellow beauty influencer. He makes beauty-related content here on YouTube, and he's been collaborating with MAC for the past year, creating different collections. This is his fifth and final collection and collaboration with MAC, so you guys know I had to go pick it up because I know a lot of you all are interested in it. So as I mentioned, this is the fifth collaboration MAC has had with Patrickstarrr, and I do not know anybody besides Rihanna that MAC has collaborated with that many times. So it's Rihanna, Patrickstarrr, and Nicki Minaj. Other than that, MAC is like one and done. So Patrickstarrr had a holiday collection last year with MAC, and he's released several different collections throughout the year, and this is his last one again for the holidays 2018. The description for this collection reads, "Ride your sleigh like a star this holiday season with the fierce, festive colors of Patrickstarr's final collection with MAC. The mega influencer brings sultry magic to the season with new shades of lipstick, Dazzleglass, Pigment, and Mineralize Skinfinish, plus eyeshadow palettes and the return of Patrick's powder." Like the description says, there's only one repeat in this collection, which is the powder, so let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. So if you all kept up with these collections at all, you know that the breakout star of the collection is the powder. Patrickstarrr collaborated with MAC to create a new version of set powder last year, and this powder is a variation of a powder that MAC has already had in their permanent lineup, but this powder was tinted differently, that way it could fit deeper complexions. And so they brought it back this year, and I know a lot of people were excited because this powder has been selling for crazy amounts on eBay and other resellers' websites. I'm talking like $200, $300 for this powder. Last year they had a holographic package and it came in a regular container. So last year this product had 1 ounce of powder in it, or 30 grams of powder, and it retailed for $34. So this year the powder received an update. So it now comes in this type packaging. It comes with a powder puff, and they've upped the price to $39.50, which I wasn't too mad at it because it's limited edition packaging. It comes with a puff. The powder from this year has half of the amount of product in it. This powder retails for $39.50, and it has 0.51 ounces of product, or 14.5 grams of product. And I'm like, MAC, why would you do that? You did get the updated packaging, and I do understand that that does cost more money, especially when you add more elements in. But to cut the powder by half, I was so disappointed. I do understand supply and demand. I'm a business major. I got my master's in business. I'm a doctoral student studying business. So I do understand keeping your prices competitive, because jacking the price up to $39.50 is still better than what most people were paying for it on eBay. However, we are loyal customers, so for you all to do that, I don't feel like that was right. I don't blame Patrickstarrr for this because he is an influencer. He collaborates with MAC. I don't think that he has the final say so on how much product goes into the container. However, I just would like for MAC to stop doing things like this, because before Patrickstarrr did this, there was nothing like this in your lineup. To take advantage of that situation and cut it by so much is disappointing. Last year, if they had 30 grams and they cut it down to 25 to accommodate the packaging and all that stuff, that's still understandable. But 14.5 grams, that's a huge cut. I also did a little bit more digging. So the last time that I saw MAC have that type packaging in the powder puff was the Mariah Carey collection. So the Mariah Carey powder was priced the exact same way. It came in the same type container. And what happened to my puff? This also had a puff, but I have no idea where that puff is, and I'm not going to go dig it out. But this was a highlighter, and the difference between this launch and this powder and the Patrick's powder is that, number one, this powder did not have a predecessor. There was no powder that was like it the previous year that was cheaper and it gave more product, so people weren't as mad at that price. Plus, this is a highlighter, so naturally you're going to use less highlight than you are a set powder, which most people bake with their powder, or just use more product in general to set all over their face, or just use more to pack it on and set under their eyes. You're just never going to use as much highlighting powder as you are a setting powder. So therefore, I don't think that they should have gone that route with the setting powder from the Patrickstarrr collection. If they didn't have the set powder last year for the different price with more products, I don't think that there will be as much of an uproar as there is now, because now it feels like a ripoff. But the powder did sell out on MAC's website. So if you want this powder, this is likely going to be the first thing to go at your counter. But just know you are going to get less products, and you do have to pay a little bit more with this collection. So aside from the powder, I did pick up a few more products from this launch. I have the Mineralize Skinfinish, and then on the back it says baby it's cold outside. This can be an all over powder, or either this can be a highlighter. I used it as a highlighter. And there's 0.70 or 20 grams of products in this container. A regular MAC Mineralized Skinfinish comes with 10 grams of product, so this is twice the amount of a regular Mineralized Skinfinish that's in MAC's permanent lineup. There's 3 shades of lipstick in this collection. I picked up one. I have Spank Me Santa. This is a matte lipstick. They also have a lighter one, which is called Peachy Peter, which is also a matte lipstick. And they have a red lipstick, which is also matte, and it's called Sleigh. I will insert swatches that I took at the counter here. There's 5 shades of the Dazzleglass lip gloss, which is my favorite formula of MAC lip gloss. So I have the one in Hot Cocoa Bish, which is like the brownish one with the different flecks of glitter in it. Dazzleglasses have a high shine impact because they're packed with glitter reflex. There's 2 different eyeshadow palettes. I have one of them. This is called Oh Holy Eyes. And in the eyeshadow palettes, it comes in that slenderized container. You guys have seen MAC do this time and time again. This comes with a mirror, and then it has 6 different shades. It's a range of mattes and shimmers in here. And I did my entire eye look using this eyeshadow palette. You can do maybe 2 or 3 different looks with this palette, but this one is pretty basic. It has like browns and everyday type colors. And then there's another one that's more colorful, a little bit cooler in tone. That one is called Smoky Sleigh, and that one has like the pops of blue in there, and then icy silvers, and it has a little bit of gray tones in there. And lastly, in the collection, we have pigments, which I've not seen pigments be in a collection in so long. So I thought that that was really unique. There's 3 different pigments. I have the one in the color Twinkling Lights. There's another one called Omigaud Its Gold and Patrickstarrr. But fun fact, I have never gone through an entire pigment, ever. I am more likely to spill it before going through it because you need the tiniest amount of products. So I want to go ahead and jump into the tutorial using these items, and then following that I will follow back up and give you all my final thoughts on everything. So I hope that you all enjoy. The first color that I'm going to take is She's Gravy, and this is a MAC 217 brush. Natural hair, I'm sorry guys. And I am going to take this in my crease. So back and forth. Ooh. This color is about 1 shade darker than me, or not even that much, maybe half a shade. But I just want like a softer crease area today. So just back and forth, let's deposit this color. Using the same brush, I'm going to take Shady Santa. And I'm going to take that right on the outer corner. And build this color up. Like in circular motions to deposit the bulk of this color. And then blend it upwards. But I'm not going to take this in the crease because I want this look to be pretty light. I do want this color to be opaque on the lid. So go over it as many times as you need to build it up so it's not patchy. So once you have that done, now let's move on into the lid. Now I'm going to take Mama Starr's Cookie, and I am going to apply that all over the lid. Just pat this color on. And I'm using packing motions using my MAC 239 brush. Again, it's a flat shader, natural hair brush. And just pack this on until it's fully opaque. And sometimes with matte eyeshadows, you have to go over it a few times so it's not patchy. So once you have that blended out, now you can move on to the next step. So in this palette, they have shimmer eyeshadows. You could definitely use this gold eyeshadow for what I'm about to do next. But since I bought the pigment, I want to use the pigment in the look. So I have the pigment Twinkling Lights. Here's what MAC pigments look like. It's loose product. So you can use it for eyeshadow, you can use it for a highlighter, or you can mix it in with your lip products. When I worked at MAC, they told us we can mix it in with our nail polishes. I've never done that, but I guess you can. I'm going to take this on my eyes. I have an ESUM brush. This is an S31 pencil brush. I just work off the little cap because normally I find that that's enough product for my eyes. And I'm going to pick up some of that, and then I'm going to apply that on the inner corner. I don't want a whole lot of this, just a little bit. So I'm just going to tap this on the inner corner. I don't want a lot of this product on the lid at all. I just want to keep it pretty much right here. And then lightly blend that over. I actually want that to be more pigmented, so I'm going to spray my brush with a little bit of Fix Plus with the product on it. And so I'm just going to tap this on. Yes, that made it more intense. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply some concealer, and then I'm going to use the powder from the collection to set it. So, should I use this puff? Nah. I'm not going to use puff. It comes with this little plastic thing. I'm not going to take that all the way off just because I don't want this powder to get everywhere. So what I'm going to do is empty some of this powder onto the palm of my hand. I'm going to take my same sponge and pick this up and set my under eye with it. Okay, so that was pretty much all that powder. Very silky and smooth powder. You all can see what my under eye looks like set versus unset. It's just a smoother appearance with the setting powder. I wiped off my hand and now I'm going to use the powder from last year's collection on the other side. Again, I'm going to flip that sponge over on the other side and set the other side with the powder from last year just to make sure that the powder's the same and it looks the same. So here's what the powder looks like from this year. And here's what the powder looks like from last year. Now, I don't know if I'm crazy or not because I examined the ingredients list on both of the new and old powders and they're both identical. But I feel like the newer powder is a bit silkier than the older powder because sometimes powders catch like that and it's fine. I just go back over it with my sponge just to blend it in and diffuse that powdery look a little bit more. I don't know, I could be alone in my thoughts with that. If you have both of the new and old powders and you try it out, let me know what you think down below. So finishing off my eye look, I'm going to go back with the pigment on the inner corner and just pop that on the inner corner. I'm going to go back with She's Gravy all the way across and make sure it connects to the top. Is this not the cutest thing? I love this packaging in this big compact. The last time I saw MAC have huge compacts like this was the Wonder Woman collection, which was 50 million years ago. So I think this is cute, but this is a mineralized skin finish, but I want to read the directions on how MAC says to use it. It says to strategically buff on to add highlights to the high points of the face or blend all over for a sheer luminous polish to the skin. So basically you can use this as an all over finishing powder or you could use it as a highlighter. Here's what the product looks like. It doesn't have a mirror in it. It looks like it should though. I'm going to apply this here. Okay. So this is applying a lot prettier than I thought it was going to. When I swatched it, I thought it looked too tan with not enough goldenness to it, but it looks really pretty on my complexion. It's like a subtle highlight. So I grabbed two of the lip products. I grabbed the lipstick in Santa Spank Me and the Dazzle Lip Glass in Hot Coco Bish. So I'm going to go ahead and apply those and let's make a lip combination. This one is a matte lipstick. So this lipstick is described as a dirty rose on MAC's website. I do want to add a little bit of lip liner in there to give it a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to go in with MAC's Chestnut. Yes, right in the corners. So I shaded that in. So now I'm going to go in with the Dazzleglass lip gloss. And I'm going to put this in the center. I like this gloss because it deepened up the lip just a little bit. So it looks more brown now than it does plummy rosy. So here are my final thoughts on this collection piece by piece. So let's start off with the Mineralized Skin Finish in Baby It's Cold Outside. So to be completely honest, guys, this is the piece from the collection that I thought I would like the least. But in turn, I feel like I like it the best. It actually shows up really beautifully on the skin. It blends out so nicely. And it has me curious to go back in my collection and revisit my mineralized skin finishes. Because as you all know, as the makeup industry progresses, it's easy to forget things that you used to love in the past. And mineralized skin finishes were always a love of mine. My first highlighter was actually a mineralized skin finish. And I do miss them. And this color showed up really pretty on me. And I feel like this will look even more beautiful on deeper complexions. So like in NC50, NW50 is really gonna pop and show more gold on you. If you're lighter than me, like NC30 and lighter, I think this is going to be way too dark as a highlight. Some people like to use it as a bronzer. For me personally, I do not like overly shimmery bronzers, so I would not recommend using this as a bronzer because of my personal preferences. But if you do not mind this, then this is a nice product. Next, the lip products. I like the lip products. They're not going to be my top favorites that I'm going to reach for every day, but I like the color that I created. The matte lipstick is on par with MAC's matte formula, and the Dazzleglass, I love a Dazzleglass. This one has like very fine shimmer in it, but applying it on top of the lipstick combination that I already had, the shimmers are more subdued. So if you're looking for super glittery lips with the Dazzleglass that I chose, I don't feel like I got that personally, but it did add a little bit of pizzazz to my lip and it gave me a glossy lip. The pigment, I did not like the pigment. I felt like this pigment was not as finely milled as MAC's pigments normally are. I also felt like this pigment was not as pigmented. Like the name of it is pigment, so you're looking for that very intense payoff, that opaqueness and the intensity that you normally get with MAC pigments. This one really didn't give it to me. I felt like this one was a little bit chunkier, a little bit harder to make opaque. I'm really not used to that with MAC pigments. I even noticed it when I was swatching it in the store, how chunky this was. But if you want to go in with Fix Plus, it definitely smooths it out. You can even go in with the mixing medium and you can get a really intense payoff. The eyeshadow palette, I feel like this eyeshadow palette is overall decently formulated. I do feel like the first two eyeshadows in this palette are a little bit more pigmented than the last two. I feel like the last two were a little bit harder to build up and they were a little bit drier. The first two were very smooth and buttery. This one reminded me a lot of MAC's Samoa Silk, which was discontinued and then brought back. And I'm not sure if it's permanent still, but I like colors in this tone. I feel like they really complement my golden complexion, but these two colors, these were a little bit more mauvey and I really didn't feel like they fit in with the color scheme. I wish they had gone a little bit warmer. Aside from that, the formulation of these eyeshadows, I did feel like it skipped and it didn't take quite some time for me to build up this darker color for it to be completely opaque. The shimmers in this eyeshadow palette, they were okay. I do feel like you are going to have to spend some time building those up as well because they are going to go on a little bit sheer. And the last thing that I picked up from this collection, you all already know, is the powder. Call me crazy, but I actually like this powder better than the last one. I feel like it's a touch better. The only thing I have to say about this powder is that I wish that they had put a comparable amount to what they originally released in this container, then I would have nothing to say about it. Because of the significant cut of product that's in this powder, you are going to run through it twice as fast. So just keep that in mind if you're wanting to buy this and you're wanting to use it on a regular basis. Let me know if you plan on picking up something from this collection down in the comment section. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss out on any new uploads from me. And I will talk to you all in my very next video. Smooches. Bye.